Chapter 1. The Ominous Prelude. High school was supposed to be a time of laughter, learning, and making memories. For Emily, it started that way, until whispers began to circulate through the halls of Willow Creek High. At first, they were dismissed as mere gossip, the product of overactive imaginations seeking excitement in the mundane routine of school life. But then came the nights when the halls echoed with strange noises, when the silence of the empty corridors was shattered by inexplicable whispers and phantom footsteps. Emily, ever the curious soul, couldn't ignore the chill that crept down her spine whenever she heard these tales. One evening, as dusk settled over the quiet town, Emily found herself lingering in the deserted halls with her friends Sarah and Alex. The school seemed to take on a different aura after hours, its once familiar corners now imbued with an eerie sense of foreboding. "It's probably just old pipes or something," Sarah remarked, attempting to rationalize the unsettling sounds they had heard. But Emily couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to it than that. The whispers seemed to beckon her, drawing her closer to the heart of the mystery lurking within Willow Creek High. "We should investigate," Emily suggested, her voice barely above a whisper, though her excitement was palpable. Sarah exchanged a skeptical glance with Alex, but the curiosity in Emily's eyes was infectious. With a shared nod, they agreed to delve deeper into the enigma that had taken hold of their school. And so, unaware of the chilling encounters that lay ahead, Emily and her friends embarked on a journey that would forever change their perception of Willow Creek High. Little did they know, they were about to step into a world where the line between reality and the unknown would blur, leaving them teetering on the edge of a dark and unsettling abyss. Chapter 2. The Sinister Encounters. As Emily, Sarah, and Alex delved deeper into their investigation, the unsettling occurrences at Willow Creek High began to escalate. What had once been dismissed as the creaks and groans of an old building now took on a more sinister tone. One night, as they explored the deserted halls, a chill settled in the air, wrapping around them like a suffocating shroud. Sarah's skepticism wavered as shadowy figures flickered in the corners of her vision, disappearing as quickly as they had appeared. "I saw something," Sarah stammered, her voice trembling with fear. "It was like a person, but not." Emily's heart raced as she exchanged a knowing glance with Alex. They had all felt the presence lurking in the darkness, a malevolent force that seemed to feed on their fear. Determined to uncover the truth, they pressed on, their footsteps echoing in the empty corridors. But with each passing moment, the oppressive atmosphere seemed to close in around them, suffocating them with its unseen weight. Then, as they rounded a corner, they were met with a sight that froze them in their tracks. An apparition, pale and ethereal, stood before them, its eyes burning with a hollow intensity that sent shivers down their spines. Emily's breath caught in her throat as she reached out, her fingers trembling as they brushed against the icy chill of the spirit's presence. It seemed to pulse with an otherworldly energy, drawing them closer even as every instinct screamed at them to flee. With a collective gasp, they stumbled backward, their hearts pounding in their chests. The encounter had shaken them to their core, forcing them to confront the chilling reality of the unknown that lurked within Willow Creek High. As they made their way back to the safety of their homes, they couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched, that unseen eyes followed their every move. The sinister encounters had only just begun, and they knew that they were treading on dangerous ground. Chapter 3. The Malevolent Presence. The unsettling encounters at Willow Creek High continued to escalate, casting a dark shadow over the once idyllic school. Emily, Sarah, and Alex found themselves haunted by the lingering presence that seemed to permeate every corner of the campus. Desperate for answers, they pored over old yearbooks and school records in search of clues that could shed light on the mysterious occurrences. But the more they uncovered, the more apparent it became that there was something malevolent lurking within the walls of Willow Creek High. One afternoon, as they pored over faded photographs in the school's archives, a sudden chill descended upon the room, causing the temperature to plummet. Emily's heart raced as she glanced around, a sense of unease settling in the pit of her stomach. "Did you feel that?" Sarah whispered, her voice barely audible over the sound of their racing hearts. Before Emily could respond, a book flew off the shelf, crashing to the ground with a deafening thud. Alex cursed under his breath as they scrambled to their feet, their nerves frayed by the sudden disturbance. "We need to get out of here," Emily said, her voice trembling with fear. But as they made their way to the door, they were met with a sight that chilled them to the core. A shadowy figure stood in their path, its form shifting and twisting in the dim light. Emily's blood ran cold as she stared into the hollow eyes of the apparition, feeling its malevolent presence wash over her like a wave of icy dread. With a silent scream, they turned and fled, the echoes of their footsteps mingling with the sinister whispers that seemed to follow them. As they emerged into the safety of the sunlight, they knew that they had stumbled upon something far more sinister than they could have ever imagined. The malevolent presence that lurked within Willow Creek High was real, and it was growing stronger with each passing day. Chapter 4. Unraveling the Mystery. Haunted by the malevolent presence that lurked within Willow Creek High, Emily, Sarah, and Alex delved deeper into the school's dark history. They spent countless hours scouring old newspaper clippings and interviewing former students and teachers, determined to uncover the truth behind the chilling phenomena that plagued their school. Their efforts eventually led them to a forgotten corner of the library, where dusty volumes of school yearbooks lay untouched for decades. As they flipped through the yellowed pages, they stumbled upon a photograph that sent a shiver down their spines. In the faded image, a young girl with hauntingly familiar eyes stared back at them, her expression filled with sorrow and longing. Beneath the photograph was a name, Jessica Monroe, a name that sent a chill down Emily's spine. "Jessica Monroe," Emily whispered, her voice barely above a whisper. "I've heard that name before." Sarah and Alex exchanged uneasy glances as Emily recounted the stories she had heard of Jessica, a former student who had mysteriously vanished from Willow Creek High decades ago. Rumors had swirled about her disappearance, but the truth had remained buried beneath layers of time and secrecy. Determined to unravel the mystery, Emily and her friends delved deeper into Jessica's story, piecing together fragments of information scattered throughout the school's archives. They learned of a tragic accident that had claimed Jessica's life, leaving behind a legacy of sorrow and unrest. But as they continued their investigation, they discovered that Jessica's spirit still lingered within the halls of Willow Creek High, trapped in a perpetual state of anguish and longing. It became clear that her restless soul was the source of the malevolent presence that had tormented them for so long. Armed with this newfound knowledge, Emily, Sarah, and Alex vowed to put an end to Jessica's suffering once and for all. Little did they know, their quest would lead them to confront the darkness that lurked within their own hearts, testing their courage and resolve in ways they could never have imagined. Chapter 5. Confronting the Unknown. With the pieces of the puzzle finally falling into place, Emily, Sarah, and Alex knew that they had to confront the malevolent spirit of Jessica Monroe head-on. Armed with determination and a newfound sense of purpose, they set out to lay her restless soul to rest and bring an end to the haunting that had plagued Willow Creek High for decades. Gathering in the dimly lit corridors of the school, they prepared themselves for the confrontation ahead. The air was heavy with tension as they steeled themselves for what lay ahead, their hearts pounding in anticipation of the unknown. As they ventured deeper into the heart of the school, the oppressive atmosphere seemed to close in around them, suffocating them with its unseen weight. But they pressed on, guided by a flicker of courage that burned bright within their souls. Finally, they reached the epicenter of the haunting, a forgotten corner of the school where Jessica's spirit was said to dwell. The air crackled with energy as they stood before the spectral form, its eyes burning with a haunting intensity. Emily took a step forward, her voice steady as she addressed the restless spirit. "Jessica, we know why you're here. We know what happened to you all those years ago." The spirit's form flickered and wavered, its ethereal presence pulsing with an otherworldly energy. Emily could sense the anguish and sorrow that emanated from it, a reflection of the pain that had consumed Jessica in life. "We're here to help you," Sarah added, her voice filled with compassion. "We want to set you free from this torment." For a moment, there was silence as Jessica's spirit regarded them with a mixture of sadness and longing. Then, with a sound like a mournful sigh, the spectral form began to fade, its ethereal presence dissipating into the air like smoke in the wind. As they watched Jessica's spirit finally find peace, Emily, Sarah, and Alex knew that they had succeeded in their quest. Willow Creek High would no longer be haunted by the specter of its past, and Jessica could finally rest in peace. But as they emerged from the depths of the school, they couldn't shake the feeling that their lives would never be the same again. They had confronted the unknown and emerged victorious, but the echoes of their ordeal would linger forever, a haunting reminder of the thin veil that separated the living from the dead. Chapter 6. The Lingering Echoes. With Jessica's spirit finally at peace, Willow Creek High emerged from the shadows of its haunted past. The once oppressive atmosphere that had permeated the halls lifted, replaced by an air of tranquility and newfound hope. Emily, Sarah, and Alex breathed a collective sigh of relief as they returned to the familiar routines of school life. Yet, despite the sense of closure that came with their victory, they couldn't shake the feeling that the echoes of their ordeal lingered, a haunting reminder of the thin veil separating the living from the dead. As days turned into weeks and weeks into months, life at Willow Creek High slowly returned to normal. The whispers of the haunting became nothing more than distant memories, fading into the recesses of their minds like a dream upon waking. But for Emily, Sarah, and Alex, the experience had left an indelible mark on their souls. They had faced the darkness head-on and emerged stronger for it, their bond forged through the trials they had endured together. Yet, as they walked the halls of Willow Creek High, they couldn't help but feel a sense of unease, a lingering awareness of the supernatural forces that lurked just beyond the veil of reality. Though the haunting had ended, its legacy endured, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit in the face of unimaginable darkness. And as they looked towards the future, they knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, they would face them together, armed with the courage and strength they had gained from their harrowing ordeal. Chapter 7. Forever Marked. Time passed, and the events of the haunting at Willow Creek High gradually faded from the collective memory of the students and staff. Life went on, filled with the usual highs and lows of high school existence. Emily, Sarah, and Alex moved forward with their lives, their bond stronger than ever after facing the horrors that had threatened to consume them. Yet, try as they might, they could never quite shake the feeling of being forever marked by their ordeal. In quiet moments, when the halls of the school were empty and the echoes of their laughter faded into the distance, they would find themselves haunted by memories of the past. The chilling encounters, the sinister presence, the desperate struggle to bring peace to a restless spirit, all were etched into their minds like scars upon their souls. But amidst the lingering shadows of their past, there was also a glimmer of hope, a reminder of the strength they had discovered within themselves and the unbreakable bond that had carried them through the darkest of nights. As they stood on the threshold of graduation, ready to embark on the next chapter of their lives, they knew that they would carry the lessons they had learned at Willow Creek High with them wherever they went. They had faced the unknown and emerged victorious, forever changed by the haunting of their high school years. And though the echoes of their ordeal would linger, a chilling reminder of the thin veil that separates the living from the dead, they would face the future with courage, resilience, and the unwavering belief that they could overcome any challenge that came their way. For Emily, Sarah, and Alex, the haunting of Willow Creek High would remain a haunting memory, a true high school horror story that had tested their limits and ultimately strengthened their spirits. And as they stepped out into the world beyond the ivy-covered walls of their school, they did so with heads held high, ready to face whatever mysteries awaited them in the vast unknown. Title: Shadows in the Halls. A true high school horror story. In the heart of a quiet suburban town, Nestled amidst the comforting embrace of tree-lined streets and quaint storefronts, stood the imposing edifice of Lincoln High School. For generations, it had served as a bastion of learning and community, its halls teeming with the restless energy of youth and the promise of boundless potential. Yet, beneath its facade of academic excellence lurked a darkness that defied rational explanation, a darkness that would soon envelop the lives of those within its grasp. At the center of our tale was Sarah, a studious and introspective teenager whose quiet demeanor belied a keen intellect and unwavering determination. From a young age, she had navigated the tumultuous waters of adolescence with grace and poise, earning the admiration of both peers and teachers alike. But behind her serene facade lay a wellspring of uncertainty, a nagging sense that something sinister lurked beneath the surface of her idyllic existence. It began innocuously enough, with whispers and murmurs exchanged in furtive glances and hushed tones. Tales of inexplicable phenomena circulated like wildfire, passed down from one generation of students to the next like a macabre game of telephone. Some spoke of shadowy figures glimpsed in the dead of night, their formless shapes dancing on the periphery of vision before melting away into the darkness. Others recounted chilling encounters with spectral entities that roamed the halls with silent purpose, their presence leaving an indelible mark on those unfortunate enough to cross their path. Initially dismissive of these stories, Sarah brushed them off as the fanciful imaginings of impressionable minds, a collective delusion born from the fevered depths of adolescent angst. Yet, as the whispers grew louder and more persistent, she found herself increasingly unsettled by the notion that there may be truth to the tales after all. Try as she might to rationalize away the inexplicable, the gnawing sense of unease persisted, festering like a wound that refused to heal. The turning point came one crisp autumn evening when the school hosted its annual Halloween dance, a time-honored tradition steeped in the rich tapestry of teenage revelry and youthful exuberance. Against her better judgment, Sarah found herself drawn to the event, lured by the promise of camaraderie and the chance to momentarily escape the shadow that loomed over her existence. As she stepped into the dimly lit gymnasium, Sarah was greeted by a cacophony of sights and sounds that assaulted her senses with reckless abandon. The air was thick with the scent of sweat and cologne, mingling with the unmistakable aroma of sugary treats and cheap plastic decorations. A kaleidoscope of costumes whirled around her in a dizzying blur, each more elaborate and outlandish than the last, while the pulsating beat of the music reverberated through her bones like a primal heartbeat. For a fleeting moment, Sarah allowed herself to succumb to the infectious energy of the crowd, losing herself in the sea of faces and the intoxicating rhythm of the night. But as the hours passed and the revelry reached its zenith, a creeping sense of unease began to worm its way into her consciousness. A primal instinct that warned of impending danger lurking just beyond the veil of laughter and merriment. It started with a flicker, a mere trick of the light, or so Sarah told herself in a feeble attempt to dispel her mounting apprehension. But as the lights dimmed and the shadows danced, she couldn't shake the feeling that she was being watched, stalked by an unseen presence that hungered for her very soul. Then, with a deafening crack, the lights extinguished in a blaze of brilliance, plunging the gymnasium into darkness so thick it seemed to smother the very air from her lungs. Panic erupted like wildfire, spreading through the crowd with alarming speed as screams pierced the night and bodies collided in a frenzied scramble for safety. In the chaos that ensued, Sarah found herself separated from her friends, adrift in a sea of darkness and uncertainty. Panic clawed at her chest as she groped blindly through the darkness, her heart pounding in her ears like a drumbeat of impending doom. With trembling hands, she reached for her phone, its feeble glow offering scant solace in the oppressive gloom. But even as its dim light illuminated the twisted contours of her surroundings, Sarah could sense that she was not alone. A primal instinct that whispered of unseen eyes watching her every move, waiting patiently in the shadows for the perfect moment to strike. As she navigated the labyrinthine corridors of the school, Sarah's senses were assaulted by a barrage of unsettling sights and sounds. An otherworldly moan echoing from the depths of an empty classroom, The phantom brush of icy fingers against her skin, the inexplicable sensation of being watched by unseen eyes. Each step felt like a descent into madness, the boundary between reality and nightmare blurring beyond recognition. And yet, through sheer force of will, Sarah pressed on, driven by a stubborn refusal to succumb to the encroaching darkness. It was then, amidst the oppressive silence of the deserted hallway, that Sarah's worst fears were realized. A figure materialized before her, its features obscured by shadow, its presence radiating an aura of malevolence that threatened to consume her whole. Frozen in terror, Sarah watched helplessly as the apparition drew closer, its form flickering like a spectre summoned from the depths of the collective unconscious. In that moment of abject horror, she felt a primal instinct awaken within her, a fierce determination to survive at any cost. Summoning every ounce of courage she possessed, Sarah confronted the entity head-on, her voice trembling but resolute as she demanded answers to the mysteries that plagued her existence. And to her astonishment, the spectre responded, not with violence or malice, but with a sorrowful lamentation that pierced the very core of her being. In that fleeting exchange, Sarah glimpsed the truth hidden beneath the veil of illusion, a truth that defied explanation yet resonated with a profound sense of empathy and understanding. For in the end, she realized, the true horror lay not in the darkness itself, but in the fear of the unknown that dwelled within us all. As dawn broke on the horizon and the spectre faded into the ether, Sarah emerged from the depths of her ordeal forever changed, a survivor, yes, but also a witness to the boundless depths of human resilience and the enduring power of hope in the face of despair. And though the events of that fateful night would fade into memory with the passage of time, the lessons learned would endure as a testament to the indomitable spirit of those who dared to confront the darkness within and emerge unscathed on the other side.